Hello and welcome to episode 181 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. And joining me as always is the succulent League Freak. You can find on Twitter at League Freak. You go there, mate.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mr. Five Watches. Happy birthday to you. What's it like to be old?
You'll know very, very soon.
Fuck you.
You've gone up half cocked 19 minutes early.
Well, it's better than being 19 minutes late, isn't it?
I thought you were going to say that's what she said.
Well, no. Imagine going off 19 minutes early. That would be a real problem. But yeah, I'm pretty good.
Well, very good with timing. Imagine if the footy starts in 18 minutes.
Well, you'd save yourself all sorts of money too, wouldn't you? Yeah, I'll take you out for dinner, sweetheart. How about we? Oh, yeah. Never mind. I'm going to bed.
19 minutes early. Time for you to catch an Uber.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Now get the fuck out of my house. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's going on? What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we've done a lot of preparation for this episode.
Yeah, the Skype conversation that we're recording has been going on for about 2 minutes,
Yes.
and 1 minute and 45 of that is this
Yes.
podcast.
Well, let me ask you a question, right?
Uh-huh.
What do you think of the dropping of Benji Marshall from the West Tigers team this weekend?
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't think Benji was playing actually bad. I don't think he played bad enough to deserve being dropped. But I believe that the reason why Benji got dropped is because, there's a few reasons. I think Maguire knows that Benji can handle it. He knows that Benji will fight to get his spot back, which is what he wants the other players to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it also says to everyone else there, if a club legend in good form like Benji Marshall can get dropped, then all your fucking asses are on notice.
Yeah, I think what you said there about Benji can handle it, I think that's really important because there'd be few players of his age in the game who have been through as much as he has and who would just take this on the chin. And everything I've seen from him, he's just been like, yeah, I need to play better. And that's exactly what you want to hear out of a player. I tend to think he's actually going to play the game. I think they'll find a way to get him into the side.
Yeah, look, I'm fairly certain that he'll be on the bench somewhere.
Now, did you see where he was going into training today and he walked up and he gave a peck on the cheek to a female rugby league reporter that he obviously knew, and it meant that both of them had to go into lockdown and get tested for COVID-19.
First thing you got to ask,
Yeah.
did staff writers or James Hoodorn come out with an article talking about how Benji Marshall could be facing a suspension and a large fine? Because that's what happened when Terry Lamb shook one of the Bulldogs players' hands, only for the NRL to hand down a suspended fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nothing happened.
It was funny when it was coming through on the media because they were like breathlessly reporting it like, oh, he's in lockdown. It's a quarantine breach. And, the weird thing about 2020 is that people can't just see something happen and go, oh, yeah, how about that? Like everything has to be followed up by some sort of nervous breakdown by the entire planet. It's really strange.
Yeah, it's like violent outrage.
Yeah.
Like you've got to be aggressively outraged. You can't be nonchalant about anything. You have to take a stance on one side or the other, and you have to be aggressive on it.
Yeah, Benji Marshall put the entire game at risk by doing what he did. The entire game.
Don't talk it down, mate. I mean, he put the entire civilization of mankind at risk.
Yeah, it's the worst breach I've seen since Latrell Mitchell had a barbecue.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst one I've seen since Latrell Mitchell got in a car that he didn't own.
It's almost as big of a breach as a TikTok video is.
Oh, that's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah. But yeah, so Benji's getting tested, the reporter's getting tested. You know, they'll be fine.
So I believe Benji will be in lockdown
Yeah,
tomorrow, which
yeah,
is also the Tigers' day off.
yeah,
So, whoop-de fucking do.
yeah.
And then he'll be able to return to training with everybody else on the day that they all return to training.
It's funny how that'll work out, hey?
Yeah.
I
It's the
tell you
most
what,
absurd
if
garbage going around.
I know, right? And like we've had no community transmission in New South Wales for a week, I think it's been. Like the only cases we've had, they've been people coming from overseas that are in lockdown already.
Yeah.
And it was funny seeing it being reported at the time because the media outlets were acting like it was this breaking news story. It was pretty funny.
Just ridiculous.
So, some more news that happened a couple of days ago. Paul McGregor got the full support of the Dragons board.
Well, it was a good run, Mary.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't. You was shit.
Yeah, it was terrible 7 years, but they said that they're going to stick by him. I can't believe that they will because, although I said this, I have this theory that if you're going to lose millions of dollars this year anyway as a club, and you're obviously going to have a bad season this year, why not just cop a massive one right on the chin in 2020 and not have to pay Mary McGregor out for the rest of this year? You just have him on board, you let everything be run into the ground, and then you start next year afresh.
Is it possible they can make him like media manager, but on the same salary?
You know what they should do, right? We've seen the controversy surrounding their Twitter. Why don't they make him run their Twitter feed?
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, that would be good. Like,
Ask Mary.
every day is Ask Mary.
And he'll just sit there and ignore your questions.
It would be pretty good.
Or just answer the ones he wants to in the manner he wants to.
Although I've got to say, he was straight onto the TV after their last loss, and it was a bad loss. I mean, that was about as bad as a loss gets. So he did front up for that, but man, it's not good. I feel sorry for Dragons fans.
I definitely feel sorry for the fans.
Yeah.
Because they're going to enjoy this clown for another year at least. That's if he stays out this year.
Now, did you see that the NRL, this is the rumour, right? There's a politician, I think his name's John Barilaro or something.
John Barilaro, yes.
Yeah, and he is being tipped to be the next NRL CEO. And funnily enough, he's a mate of Peter V'landys.
You don't say.
No, it's crazy, hey?
Let me guess, he's got all the same views and ideas as Peter V'landys does?
Most likely. I'm not sure, but most likely. He's actually pushing really hard because he's still and it's funny, we talked about Todd Greenberg's too much of a politician, so they go and get a fucking actual politician.
After having one in the past that they didn't like and got rid of.
Yeah.
Peter Beattie.
It was, he's really pushing hard for the NRL to get crowds back right now publicly, so he's already, doing his job. But yeah, I thought that was a bit of a weird one.
Politicians in rugby league. It's got a long story past. It goes all the way back to 1908.
Yeah, exactly.
Back then, most of them were better than the ones today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what can you say? At this point, I'm not surprised by anything the NRL does. I just sort of go with it now.
So long as it's the NRL saying it, not, media outlets.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, there's not too much news around at the moment. Hey, it's been pretty quiet, which is good. They're talking about getting corporate boxes filled up again at NRL games, which would be good fun. So anyone out there that's got a corporate box that wants to invite me, please get in touch, podcast@leaguefreak.com. I think we'll be at games at full capacity within a month.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I see the AFL is going to be, pushing to have full crowds and stuff back pretty soon as well. They're probably pressured by the NRL. That's somehow some sort of great big thanks to Peter V'landys.
Most likely, yeah. I think that that it's weird that they're kind of racing each other to get crowds back in. I think that all of the protests and stuff we saw in some of the capital cities pretty much unofficially put an end to the lockdown. And between that and the really good COVID-19 numbers that we've been seeing, it's like, it's going to be hard to stop crowds from coming back. People are just going to be like, what are we waiting for here,
Exactly. I must admit, I have just found a piece of news that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
It's from James Hood Ornament.
Yep.
The push for Shane Flanagan to have his NRL head coaching ban lifted and being reinstated at the Sharks next year is 100-1 and drifting to get off the tarmac. So he's suggesting that Cronulla are trying to get Flano back to be their coach.
Really?
And at the risk of agreeing with this ass clown, the Sharks, the smartest thing they can do is sign John Morris on for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Why are they even considering not giving him an extension for 1 year? What he did last year was nothing short of bloody miraculous.
It really was. He was coach of the year last year.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Handed that club when it was in the middle of turmoil, halfway through the preseason, and managed to bring through a bunch of really good juniors.
Mm-hmm.
One of them turned out to be an absolute dickhead and fuck his career.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as a failure of Morris because he's Bronson Cherry did that all on his own hat. No one else at the club was involved in that crap. So
yeah,
he's also done a few things like getting rid of, as much as it would have been handy to hang on to Josh Morris, having him gone when they've already got, a few centres to work with there made sense. Frees up a bit of cap space.
Mm-hmm.
They've not used any of that cap space either. They've also freed up the money when Gallen retired. So he's going to be able to go on a bit of a shopping spree next year. It must absolutely suck that he's got that club moving in the right direction after the whole Gallen-Flanagan era has ended. A young squad, looking positive, playing some positive footy, and now they're going to ditch him when he's got a little bit of money in the kitty to play with to buy some new players.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, how many times do they want Flanagan to fuck things up at the club? Like,
I get this feeling that the Sharks board have this. They're so enamoured with Flanagan. It reminds me of when the West Tigers had Tim Sheens there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he won us one premiership. He can do it again. No, it's clear that he's lost the touch. It's time to move on. Oh, let's just give him another 5 years. No! 5 years later. Anyway, I'm going to go down that fucking path again.
Why don't you tell us what you thought about the Titans' loss?
Well, I remember saying to the missus before the game started, and that is, if any team could lose to a side that hasn't won a game in 364 days, despite having just had a pretty good win the week before, it's the West Tigers.
Yeah.
They know how to lose the unlosable better than anyone.
And the Titans' record was weirdly good against the Tigers.
Oh, yeah. That's always been about 50 to 55% or so.
Yeah.
Success.
It was a really weird game. Like, I didn't say the second half, but just one of those games where I thought the Tigers were going to romp away with it, and then all of a sudden the Titans started playing well out of nowhere, better than I've seen them play for probably 2 or 3 years, and they did great. Like, it was a really surprising result to me.
I'll tell you what I noticed, and that is, it looks like Ash Taylor has had a bit of a kick in the arse and told, stop trying to be a smart ass with the ball in your hands and just focus on doing the basics right. and he had a little bit more control. He's playing the safer, smarter options so much more often,
Mm-hmm.
and the Titans were just able to stay in the game because of it. He looked like a completely different player to last year.
It wouldn't be tough. He wasn't there.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, it's a good sign for the Titans. It's a really good sign, and Justin Holbrook, it gives him something to build upon too, which is good because I mean, even the week before, you looked at the Titans and the way they were playing, and you thought, man, what's he even going to get out of this team? So it was a good sign for Titans, and hopefully it's something that their fans can, just feel some sort of positivity out of this season, because it's been a really rough go of it for Titans fans, and you don't like to see any supporter base having to go through that for very long, because it really is rotten.
Mm. Um, the weird thing about that game is the defensive structures of both teams were, for the most part, abysmal.
Yeah.
The Tigers' wingers were rushing up and in way too early. And in the first half, it worked to their advantage because the dopey Titans outside attackers kept trying to throw cutout passes that were so obvious they were going to happen.
Yeah.
And they got intercepted several times. I think it was about 3 intercepts by the Tigers in the first half. One led to a try. The Titans finally started to learn about it and realised that, just let them come up and in and just exploit that gap out wide.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Tigers didn't learn from it, because they're stupid. Another thing, I saw some people saying that Luke Brooks wasn't running the ball enough.
Mm-hmm.
Go and watch the game again. Luke Brooks is one of the most consistently strong ball running halfbacks there is. Not saying that he's one of the best ball running halves out there, but he's not shy. He doesn't shy away from running to the line.
Yeah.
And as we saw the week before, when the forwards are making a bit of momentum, that ball running aspect of his game is an absolute killer. But when the forwards aren't going forward, that ball running just means he just gets shut down.
Yeah, it basically turns into a hit up.
Yeah, and he's too small to be doing that, and he shouldn't be doing that. There should be options either side of him wanting to take those runs into the line, either as a decoy or even as a crash ball, and they just stand around looking at him. So he's got to take the hit up. It's just stupid to watch.
Yeah, I just wonder when he just gets fed up, and it doesn't look like he's there at all just yet, but I just wonder when he gets fed up with it all, and it's got to happen eventually, you would think.
I think at the moment he loves playing alongside Benji.
Yeah.
Like, he idolised Benji as a kid, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he has any plans of going anywhere until Benji leaves. And if that's next year or the end of this year, then I think Brooks's contract comes up the year after. Be interesting.
So there was a lot of discussion about the Brisbane Bombers name. We had a really good conversation in the last episode with Nick Livermore. It was really good, really impressive bloke. But today there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about the name of the Brisbane team that they've chosen, which is the Bombers. We talked a bit about it in the podcast episode with Nick. But you've been involved in like a Twitter scrap over this for the last about 4 hours.
Yeah, some people are talking about how the Bombers is about planes that drop bombs to kill people, and that's why it's a bad mascot to have.
Mm-hmm.
Others have been saying that it's a name that's attached to the Essendon AFL team.
Yeah.
My genuine answer to all that is, I don't give a fuck. It's marketing stuff. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think of... when I think of the Tigers, I don't think about the animals that go around the jungles and killing other animals, and the ones in zoos that kill people as they're too stupid to bloody stay on the right side of the fence. I don't. I don't. I mean, I made an argument in there that the Raiders are named after Vikings that are known for raping and pillaging.
Hmm.
I don't think of that when I think of the Raiders. I just think it's Canberra. It's just a nickname for a club to me. I couldn't give
Yeah.
a shit what the Bombers call themselves. I
Yeah.
literally don't. I literally do not care.
Yeah.
My point is, I can't believe that of all the things people want to talk about this club, they want to focus on the fucking picture.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, I want to know if this club's going to be financially viable
Hmm.
for Brisbane, for itself. Is it going to increase revenue for the game via the TV rights deal? Is it going to bring more Queenslanders and Pacific Islanders into the game?
Hmm.
Because those numbers, the Queenslander numbers, are dropping a little bit.
Yeah.
These, to me, are far more important things than a fucking picture on a logo.
Yeah, but I guess like at the moment they're all things that you've got to project, because you haven't got clear numbers on a lot of that stuff right now. Whereas the logo is something they actually have, they've got, and I think that's why people focus on it a little bit. And it's interesting that they focus so much on it. And as Nick said, like at least people are having a feeling about it one way or the other. I wonder if a lot of these people are actually in Brisbane that don't like the name, because if they're in Brisbane and they don't like the name, that might be a problem. But I would suggest that most of them aren't in Brisbane. Um, and the other thing is, and it's been brought up time and time again, if you don't like the name, come up with a better one. And I love naming things. I can't come up with a better name.
No, this is the thing. I asked them to come up with a better one. I also told them, because I'm not bloody Nick Livermore's PR person. If they want to know why he chose the Bombers, as I said on there, he's on Twitter. You can go to the Brisbane Bombers website and contact him via email there. He'll answer you. And half an hour after I did that, he came on Twitter and made a comment to let everyone know, if you've got a comment, ask me.
Yeah.
And they all went quiet and did talk to him. Mate, you peanuts.
I saw somebody said that you obviously have a vested interest in the club. So what percentage do you own of the Brisbane Bombers? Can you tell me about this?
This is an exclusive.
Oh, nice.
An exclusive. I own every share in the Bombers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
They're not actually publicly listed, and they don't actually have any shares.
Yeah.
But for shit's sake, yeah, I've got all the shares.
Nice. Excellent. I knew there was some sort of vested interest with the way you passionately defended the honour of the club.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so what happened is I took all that money I got from Patreon.
Yeah.
And invested it in Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
And then sold them when they peaked. Made a few $1 trillion. And then converted it from US dollars to Aussie dollars, which made it about 35 kajillion trillion dollars. And then, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to make a team called the Bombers just to piss everyone off.
Do you know the old story about there was an offer to Lily Allen to do a concert and they were going to pay her in Bitcoin and she turned it down, which I think was a smart move, Right. But if she'd taken up that offer, she would have made like something like $3 billion in Bitcoin when it hit its peak.
That's only if she had sold it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it tanked hard after that.
It really did. There was another story about somebody that early on in Bitcoin, they bought a pizza with it, and that pizza ended up being a few $100,000 when it hit its peak, which would suck.
That's a bit like that story about the first owner of Microsoft selling all the shares for about 10 grand.
Oh, really? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. It went around for ages in emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Shares today would be worth like hundreds of billions of dollars. You could buy countries with them and shit.
Wow, that's crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah. Who do you think's going to win the Battle of the West?
Parramatta.
I'm kind of quietly confident, hey? Like, Parramatta's in form.
I hope Penrith win.
Yeah.
It's not just because... It's not me saying I want to see Parramatta lose. I want to see how Parramatta bounce back after a loss, because they've not had to do it yet this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a true testament as to how good a side they are. And that's what they need to do.
I'm confident, and I don't know why. Sometimes I get confident about games like this. And
your boy's there.
My boy! He's back. It's more a case of, like, Parramatta's been pretty good, and obviously they're closer to a loss than they are a win. You know, at some point, it's just the way the numbers work. Unless they're going on a 10-game win streak, you know. They look really good. They're in form. Everything's working for them so far this season. And I just wonder if Penrith will be able to throw a bit of a spanner in the works and maybe have Kickow have an awesome game. Their forward pack needs to step up a little bit. But if they can execute better on their, last tackle, they're a very, very good team. They're a solid outfit. The problem is that they can't convert it into points at the moment. And I wonder if Cleary coming back will help that a little bit. But yeah, I'm quietly confident about it. I'm not shouting from the hills yet, but if they win, I will be.
And why the hell not?
Yeah. It'll mean that we're undefeated still. It's going to be a good game. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, what else has been going on?
Not much else in rugby league, that's for sure. I tried to start a movement on Twitter not too long ago, actually, to tear down Kieran Cunningham's statue in St. Helens and throw it in a river. But I didn't get much support from St. Helens fans. It was really weird.
Yeah, they tend to like him.
Yeah, they were saying words like club legend and things like that. So that was disappointing. But yeah, not much else has happened in rugby league. It's been a bit of a quiet few days, which is good because rugby league needed a quiet few days.
Yeah, no controversies.
Yeah, nothing like that. Biggest controversy we saw was obviously Josh Reynolds getting pulled over. He did a bit of a test. The test had mixed results, so they had to do a blood test or something like that. He seemed pretty confident about it though, so I think nothing will come of that.
Yeah, in the end, what we learnt was Josh Reynolds didn't pay his rego.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't his rego, it was his license.
Oh, his license. Well, there you go.
He hadn't it.
I mean, under NRL mainstream media, I mean, is that close to punishable by death?
It probably is. You could probably do it. He might have to, I don't know, have a finger cut off or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. Who's the player that cut off their finger to keep playing?
That was Angus Crichton.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Some gangster shit right there.
He might have picked his nose in public or something, and so the media just said, mate, you got to lose it.
Got to lose the finger. If you had to get a finger cut off, would you try to get the bones kept?
Nah.
I would, for sure.
Wouldn't care.
Yeah, I'd try and keep the bones and I'd fashion something out of them. I don't know what, but I'd work something out. I'd put them on the end of a stick, and that could be my finger and stick.
I want to see where this conversation goes.
I think it's handy to have a finger and stick sometimes. You just outside of the room, you just pick up your finger and stick, and you just get extra length out of, your finger range.
You want to add some more to that?
No.
Damn it.
Hey, what's COVID-19 feel like?
COVID-19. Yeah, look, I'm giving it a crack.
Yeah.
Um, I'll be honest, it's a bit underwhelming.
Oh, really?
I thought there'd be like 6 stages of death and shit like that.
Yeah.
Nah, I've just got an irritating cough and a bit of a snotty nose. Sometimes it's not even there all the times.
Have you had the urge to go and visit an old people's home?
Nah, I do live near one.
There.
Yeah, the bus I catch in the morning is across the road from it.
Ah, well, rest in
Um,
peace, all them old peoples.
yeah, sorry about
imagine,
that. I'm sure they're
imagine,
listening.
imagine if that's all it just come down to. Like, yeah, there's a big press conference and they say we found who it is, and you just come out and you go, "Yeah, sorry about that.
My bad.
Whoops.
Yep.
I thought I was all right, but then it turned out I wasn't."
Yeah. Hand in the air, that was me.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. Sorry about that. You should be all right. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about dying a second time. I'll do
That's,
the right thing the next time around.
that's true. Luckily, I feel like the pandemic is over. What do you feel like?
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah. We need shirts on that.
Yeah, we'll maybe make some. What if we made some Fergo and the Freak shirts that said something like, "I survived the pandemic thanks to Fergo and the Freak."
That could work.
It would. And
I
we
mean,
can put.
right now we should have a genuine on-air live discussion about what merch we should have.
Yeah, well, you know what ones I would love to have? There's a few things I'd like to have. Obviously, some T-shirts, right? We need some T-shirts. I'd like to have some beer coasters and beer cozies and some mugs and some of those little, the like things that you put in the back window of your car.
Mm.
Some of those things too.
I want a shirt.
Yeah.
And on the front it says Fergo by day, and on the back it says Freak by night.
That would be a good one. I like that. I've got some shirts that I've had made up, and they say League Freak owns me, because I used to say that to the Poms a lot. I used to say that I own them. And then I've got ones that say the King of Rugby League, and I can't remember what the other ones say. They might say the King of the Internet or something like that. So, yeah.
So now you can have one that says, I'm succulent.
I'm so League Freak succulent. I reckon, you know what we should do with the pandemic ones is get a photo of the COVID-19 virus and put that on the front of it. That would be really cool.
Yeah. That's an idea.
Yeah.
Or you just have one saying, Fergo and the Freak, more infectious than COVID-19.
I just thought, have I told our listeners the thing that you say to people when they're telling you about what ingredients they've put into something?
No.
I don't think I have. So, what you do, if you want to be really obnoxious, anytime somebody says, "Do you know what the really good ingredient is that you can taste in this food I made?" Right? you always say horse cum, right? Every single time. But you say it really honestly. You go, is it horse cum? And you do that over a long enough period of time, and you'll break a person down. So what I would like to do is get, some of those coffee mugs where they change colour, and it could say, like, while it's black, it could be like, what's in this cup? And then as it changes colour, as the cup heats up, it goes, it's horse cum. That would be funny.
Do you know who'll be the first one to buy one of those cups?
I do. She knows it. So, yeah. What other merch could we make? Key rings? Would people buy key rings?
Key rings? Possibly.
Hey, we got emails, by the way. We should read them out.
All right, that seems like a better idea than our merchandise discussion.
Yeah.
Hang on, while you're firing that up,
Yep.
If anyone's got any ideas on what we should do for merch and what you'd buy, definitely hit us up.
Mm.
Do it on Twitter, do it on Instagram. If you've got some ideas and you want to mock up some pictures of it, send them to us on Instagram. Or send them to us anywhere. Fergo Freak Pod on Twitter, Fergo Freak Pod on Instagram. And we'll happily post them around and give you credit for the pictures and give people an opportunity to vote on what they think might look best.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people come up with, because we can get it made.
I'm fairly certain no one will do anything.
Probably not.
Yeah, because we haven't.
All right, so our first email is from PK, and he said, "Hi guys, just want to mention after watching Sports Sunday the other morning about Peter Fitzsimons. I understand his clickbait position on the show, and with the Sydney Morning Herald, skid marks probably plays good money for it. Is Channel 9 for it against league, he says, but there is no doubt he believes a lot of what he says. He is really just comedy gold for league people now, and that's a clear majority of people. But it has got to a point where his constant rhetoric is really hurting the union in this country. His absolute arrogance and insecurities as a union supporter with his blinkers on is spreading a superiority agenda the game cannot uphold here in Australia. It's amusing the moron can't see it. This is clearly highlighted on the show when he commented, and I'll paraphrase, World Rugby wouldn't have any idea what rugby league is. Peter Fitzsimons is a creative storyteller, I'll give him that, but the narrative he is spreading is only enforcing the stereotypical union person, which is arrogance hidden under insecurity and delusion. This narrative is killing union here in Oz, as people are just off it as they see right through it. Let's be clear. League is at the foremind of World Rugby. Always has been, always will be. It is why union has spent the last 100 plus years trying to kill it. League is union's worst nightmare. It is obvious again recently with the proposed rule changes listed by World Rugby. And he says it's a 50-22 rule, goal line dropouts, changing to summer in the Northern Hemisphere. And then he says, the fact is, Union has been following League ever since the split in 1895. The introduction of numbers on the backs of players is just one of the hilarious introductions copied by League. Professionalism. I can't wait for the likes of Amazon or Netflix to do a documentary story on rugby league, the original rebel sport, to spread to the masses. Union would be fucked afterwards. I could go on for pages here, but I just wanted to highlight this as it's pissing me off yesterday, but also equally kind of humorous as Peter Fitzsimons digs Union's grave deeper. Finally, for Peter Fitzsimons, the sad reality for him is, if it weren't for rugby league to talk about, he wouldn't have a job. Cheers, PK.
I think
Are you there? Can't hear, man. Nah, still can't hear. It's super quiet.
Is that any better?
It got louder.
Okay. Any better now? No? Yes?
Yeah, it's getting better and better, yeah.
All right.
What are you doing?
I was probably sitting a bit far back.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I said in a tweet a week or two ago that Peter Fitzsimons is a rugby league journalist and commentator.
Yeah.
And just left it at that.
Yeah.
Some people thought I was being serious.
Mm-hmm.
Some people realised I was just trolling him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you went and said that to him, he'd be infuriated. But if we're honest and we sit back, what's the difference between half the shit that Peter Fitzsimons says and most of the mainstream rugby league media?
Yeah, not much.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just as brain dead as the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. And none of them sit back and offer any genuine insight, not even for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And we've spoken with genuine rugby league insight today for more than a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it without any prior notes or any effort, It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do it at all.
No.
They refuse to. And that's why you need to support independent content creators. Doesn't have to be us. It can be a lot of different people. But, yeah, independence where all the good shit's at.
I agree. It really is. It's and it's night and day. The mainstream media is terrible. And all the interesting stuff you read these days is from independent sites, which is really cool to see. We got an email from Julie, actually.
Oh.
And she said, hey, just a quick email with some questions about the game. She said, number one, what is the youngest and oldest on players' average age teams to have won a premiership?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, we had a little talk about this before, and like we kind of thought that maybe St. George, towards the end of their 11 straight premiership run, would probably be close to one of the oldest teams.
yeah.
Um,
Probably even the Sharks in 2016 would have been a fair age too.
Yep. They were.
Gallon, Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maloney.
and then the youngest teams, we actually said the West Tigers and the Panthers in the early noughties.
Yeah.
They would have been really close to the youngest teams. None of them really jumped out for us otherwise.
Yeah, I couldn't think of too many others that would jump out as being, fairly young sides. Those two did have a few older heads in there, but there was a pretty young playing group in both teams.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's any other playing groups that I can think of that.
I wonder if Canberra in 89 might get there.
Like, who were they? They had a couple of older players, but yeah, I guess maybe, hey.
Let's have a look, see what they got there. Canberra's 1989 grand final side had 3 30-year-olds in there. John Ferguson was 35. Chris O'Sullivan was a day after he turned 30. And Dean Lance was 30 years old.
Who was the first one? Chica Ferguson, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So their average age was 25 years and 88 days, which was actually only 75 days younger than the Balmain side that they played.
Wow, that's really interesting, huh?
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah.
And there was not one of the Balmain players was age 30.
That's interesting. It's weird because that Balmain team, I guess it was probably because they were at, just coming into the peak of, because a lot of them were established rep players when they made the grand final. It wasn't like they'd just broken onto the scene, you know what I mean?
That's right, and they're all pretty much at their peak, even though, Matty John says, you hit your peak at 30.
Yeah.
Gary Jack was 28. Let's see. Tim Brasher, 18. Steve O'Brien, 24. Gary Freeman, 26. Steve Roach, 27. Ben Elias, 25. Bruce Maguire, 27. Ciro, 24. Wayne Pearce, 29. Sean Edwards was 22.
It's crazy. I didn't realise that a lot of them were that young.
Yeah, neither did I. I thought a few of them would have been 30.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder how the Panthers that won their first premiership, I think they would have been older than those players. But, I guess players like, I think Guy would have been younger than most people expected, but they did have a couple of old heads in their team too, like Royce Simmons and that.
Royce was 32. He was the oldest.
Yeah.
Brad Izzard was 29. He was the next oldest.
Yeah.
Paul Dunn, 28. But yeah, they were 25 years and 111 days, so they were older than the 89 Raiders, but younger than the 89 Tigers.
There you go. So they were pretty close too.
And
all right.
The 91 Raiders side in that grand final was 20 days younger.
Wow, that's interesting.
We can look at this shit all day.
Yeah, this is where people find out what we normally do when we're not recording episodes. Well, what about the Panthers in 2003? and the Tigers in 2005.
All right, let's check out Panthers 2003.
Yeah. Because they were the ones that jumped out at us immediately.
Yeah, they were 24 years and 169 days, so they were quite a bit younger.
Yeah.
Scott Sattler 31 and Ryan Girdler 31 were the two eldest.
Yeah. Who would have been
28.
Yeah. And then Preston Campbell.
He was 26.
Yeah.
So 24 years, 169 days.
Far out.
All right, let's check 2005. I've got a feeling that Panther side will be younger than the Tigers one.
I don't know. I mean, Benji will drag him down pretty quick. He was only a teenager, wasn't he?
Tigers were 24 years and 335 days, so they're 200 days older.
Wow, that's surprising to me. I guess they had a couple of, like, the likes of John Scandalis and stuff. They'd been around for a while.
Mm.
I can't think of any others that you could throw in there that would be contenders.
No. And yeah, that Sharks team in 2016, 28 years, 76 days.
Oh, 28 years. Okay. What about the 92 Broncos?
I don't think they'll be that old.
Yeah, I mean for a young team.
No, 24 and 357 days.
Okay, so the Panthers so far. That's interesting. Yeah, there's none of them jump out for me outside of those ones.
I'll see if I can check the Dragons. I don't know if I've got all their dates of birth.
Okay.
We'll go to 66. No, I can't check that one. Damn it.
Damn. But I feel like it would be them.
Yeah. Can I see it here? Well, the average age of the players who I do have for the Dragons in 66 is 28 and 28 and about 150 days.
Okay.
So even that 2016 Sharks team's older.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That makes so much sense. I mean, they're at the end of their run there.
Yeah.
A really good question by Julie, hey?
Absolutely.
And she's got 4 of them. That was just the first one. The second question, have any players been born on February 29th and have any games ever been played on that date?
No games have been played on that date in Australia. Not in the NRL Premiership or the Brisbane one. February 29, there'll be players who were born on that day. Nelson Asafa-Solomona, Ben Hampton, Clinton Tupy, and Jean-Emmanuel Cassin from France.
Oh, there we go. So
they're the ones I know of.
Yeah.
We might find more.
Have a look through and find them, yeah. Because I just think it'd be fantastic to see, like, them saying how a player's running out, and they're only 6 years old, really.
Well, that's right. I mean, right now, Nelson Asafa-Solomona, he's 6.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's going to be at his peak when he's 30, you need to sign him up to a 24-year deal.
Exactly.
And, well, you've got to times it by 4, so that's a 96-year deal.
That's doable.
That's doable.
Yeah.
Think of that. He's going to be his peak in 96 years.
It's not too bad.
Bloody hell.
Third question she had, what are your thoughts on players leaving mid-contract due to compassionate grounds? And do you think this is ever abused by some players to get out of contracts?
I've got no problem with it, and if it probably is abused, I still don't care.
Yeah, see, I think any time a player is released on compassionate grounds, I always feel as though it ends up being bullshit.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with you. Like, you know, if a club is willing to release a player, who cares at the end of the day? It's like, you know, obviously that everyone decides that it's the end of their relationship and they should move in separate directions, I guess. Question 4. Which team?
Actually, I was going to say, other than Parramatta and Peter Sterling, when was the last time a club lost one player and turned to shit? Like forever afterwards.
Ooh, that's a good question. Just one.
Turn to shit might be hard. How about never won a premiership ever again?
But Parramatta did turn shit. I mean, they turned shit. Like, they were contenders, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, poor Brett Kenny. He's playing with a bunch of losers. One player and then turned to shit. It's a really good question. Man. I can't think of anyone, hey?
There you go.
Yeah.
Everyone's replaceable except for Duncan Thompson and Peter Sterling. Because, I mean, Norse went rubbish after he left.
True. What about...
For 80 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's normally a bunch of players. It's very rarely just one player, one linchpin. I always say when people say, oh, they'll never replace him, it's like Daly Messenger retired. You know, everyone gets replaced in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Which team has the best celebrity fan? And who would your ultimate celebrities to go to a game be? Like if you went with them. So she said mine would be to go with the Queen, Prince Philip, Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman and Gus Worland, Ed Sheeran, and James Blunt. Who would you want to go to a footy game with?
Tony Collins. Terry Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Heads.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it.
I would probably go to a footy game with Scarlett Johansson and Stacey Keebler.
You're not watching the footy then, are you?
Fuck. There's football? So, yeah, that's a good one, Julie. Thanks for your email.
Yeah.
And that's all the emails we had.
Now, we did have one of the people who left us a comment, Barry Simic.
Yeah.
Remember, he told us that it was his go-to podcast during his morning walks and coffee.
Yep. It was a fantastic review.
Well, he seems to have been inspired by the last review because he's deleted that one. He's brought out a new one called Go-To Podcast, 5 stars, yada, 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 blah, 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 podcast.
Well, I think he covered everything in the podcast.
Nailed it.
He did good.
We should do a little 3-second episode, which is just that.
What do you mean?
That'd go down well, wouldn't it? We just do our intro and then go, yada, 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 blah, 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 podcast. Catch you next week.
I feel like at this point, with how many listeners we do have, would probably upset some people.
That's the first time I've heard you being concerned about upsetting people.
Oh, no, I'm just warning you.
Are you getting old?
No, I'm not getting old. You're the old one here.
Yeah, that ain't no lie, that one.
Do you want to tell people how old you are?
I should let people guess.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And there won't be a prize for if you get it right either. You'll just be disappointed.
Yeah. We should run a poll on the Twitter feed tomorrow, Fergo on the Freak Twitter feed tomorrow, and they've got to guess your age range. See what they come up with. See,
you know to make it funny. You make the age range like really wide.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you look at it, and like the vast majority of people say like 50 to 65, and you're like, what the fuck is that all about? Like, what is it about my voice that makes them think I'm that old?
I probably do sound a bit old and boring.
Nah, you sound like you're dying though. That's interesting.
That'll put me in the 65 to 85 category.
Well, if you do die, wouldn't that be 65 and over?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna die though.
Probably not. Like, there's a really a pretty.
Nothing, no other virus has ever killed me before.
That's true.
And I chased this fucker.
Yeah, you went after it. You jumped on a plane. You jumped on a boat.
I jumped on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
I went to Sydney when it was peaking there. I got on a plane in Sydney and come back to Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
I was chasing that fucker hard. And it took him 3 months to finally catch up with him, and all it gave me was a runny nose and an occasional cough.
I can't wait until like we've got grandkids and stuff. Not you and me, you like us with other people. And,
Awkward.
and like when they ask about the pandemic, I'm gonna make out like it was just a horror zone.
Yeah. Oh man, we had sirens going off in the streets.
I was dug in underground. Didn't see sunlight for 3 months. Because that's how I'll talk when I'm old, you know.
Yeah. I'm already old, so this is what I'm going to talk like when I'm 95. Back in my day.
Back in my day. What do you reckon will be our back in my day thing?
I've already got one.
What?
Took me 2 hours to get to school on the bus.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I covered my back in my day really early. I ticked that shit off the list.
You know, one of the things that they'll be really surprised by is that we used to have lead in the petrol. I'll be like, what do you mean lead? It's like, yeah, it was full of lead.
No, not just in the petrol, in the paint on the walls of the house.
Yeah.
And asbestos.
The asbestos houses.
Yeah.
I grew up in an asbestos house.
We used to live in asbestos and lead-riddled houses and survived.
It was the best.
And you soft cocks will get there and whinge because you can't find any fucking AirPods.
Exactly.
Go away when you come back to me and you've got a spine.
The fucking kids these days.
The nerve.
Fucking millennials.
We've just angered them all now.
Yeah. It's lucky we don't have statues of ourselves up somewhere.
Man, we need statues.
Maybe we should start a thing. Where would our statues be?
I'll put one in the township where I grew up. That way no one will ever find it.
You know what? You have a successful podcast. Why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a crack at Wikipedia, putting my my entry back on there again.
Yeah, you should do it. Respected rugby league author, historian, journalist.
Yeah, I can add that in there. I haven't put it on my resume yet.
I would, my statue, for those in the know, my statue would be on the, what side of, I would have it at Tregear Shops.
Shops?
Yeah, it'd be on top of Tregear Shops, and it would be me, like, reaching up towards the stars, just to show all of the children that your dreams can come true. And it would be fantastic.
See, I was thinking of one where you actually get close to the stars, and I put you on the top of the Humber Bridge, as like some guardian angel looking over passers-by.
Yeah, but then my poor statue would have to be in fucking whole. I'm not going to do that to a lump of brass. I'd rather that lump of brass be on top of Nick's. I hope it's still called Nick's and Smith's at Tregear Shops. And just fucking reaching up for the stars. Be beautiful. All the children will come and they'll say, that's him up there. But of course, there'll be no plaque. I can't have a name on it.
It'll just be him.
Yeah, just him.
Yeah.
Like,
you should do it the next 50 or 60 odd years of life you got left in you.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Is write your own version of the Bible.
In the beginning. How would I start that off with?
In the beginning, there was a Portos.
In the beginning, it was more like, in the beginning, it was chips at Nick's. You'd go up there. You know what I used to do, right? I used to walk to school, go into Nick's, go and get $2 worth of chips with barbecue sauce on them, and then go to school in the morning. Eating chips. Good time.
I used to get up in the morning, go up to the back and crack the ice off the water in the dog bowl so it could have something to drink.
Oh, jeez.
Because it got that bloody cold and freeze it solid. It even had a dedicated stick, which is just an old busted up axe handle.
Mm-hmm.
Clunk! And then go on the walk to the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to only be about a 500-metre walk, but, by the time I turn 90, it'll be like 35 Ks or so.
Exactly.
I'll say in the snow, although it only snowed where I grew up once and at school about, I don't know, half a dozen times or so. But we'll just say it snowed every time.
Snow, yeah, 3 foot of snow.
Yeah.
You had to trudge through it. It'll be fantastic.
Oh, it'd be an epic novel, just me going to school.
Yeah. You can write about it, actually.
I could.
It'd be good.
It'd be just as dull as my personality.
Nah, your personality's not dull.
The sales would go through the roof. You remember, it might have been about 20 years ago, a book came out called Here 'Tis or something like that by Frank McCourt.
No.
It's about an Irish bloke who had a very poor upbringing.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the whole book.
That's the whole book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
I think it was called Angela's Ashes.
Oh, really? That's a bit different to what you called it.
No, Here It Is, I think, was the follow-up book to it.
Oh. You know what I'd like to do is make a rugby league colouring in book. I think that would be hilarious. That you've got like history books and I've got a colouring in book.
Page 1, Mitchell Pearce with the dog.
Yeah. Oh, we got to make this happen. That would be fantastic. What could you have? You could have
Page 2, Todd Carney setting his fart on fire.
You could have Julian O'Neill proudly just squatting over a shoe.
8 miles in the hallway at the hotel.
Yeah. This needs to happen.
There's a consistent theme here. Like, this colouring book will have to come with a whole bunch of pencils, and about 5 of them will be brown.
Yeah.
You're gonna run out of those bastards real fast.
You're gonna get crayons with you. You're gonna get some coloured ones, and then one set that's just brown crayons.
That's right. That'll be for the Julian O'Neill section.
Yeah. It's gonna be. Let's do this. I'll put together a colouring in book. Call it League Freaks Colouring in Book. I can get the art all done up for it. It's going to be good. You just better be ready because this is going to be a smash hit.
Yeah. Give us some ideas for more pictures, people.
Yeah, it's ideas for pictures you want to see in the colouring in book. It's going to be fantastic. This is going to go off. I could sell it through my Patreon. Hey.
Yeah, this can only be an unmitigated success.
Yeah, I can't see this going wrong at all.
I can't see anyone having any issue with it whatsoever.
No.
Everyone loves colouring in books. They even now make them for adults.
Yeah.
You could do as one of those adult ones. It'd just be Josh Dugan. But it'd be like one of those adult ones where they've got all the designs on the page. You just be colouring in Dugan's tattoos.
Yeah, it's like basically drawing a doily on him.
That could be the one while he's drinking a cruiser while hanging the finger.
Yeah, man, this is going to be a really good colouring in book. I'm excited by this. Sometimes there's ventures that I like to go on, and this is one of them.
Man, this has been more of an episode, but we've been talking about our future money making.
We should just call this fucking brainstorming, hey?
Exactly. This is going to be a hard one to sell to the public.
Yeah, true. Anyway, let's wrap this sucker up.
I suppose we should do that.
Yeah.
People, you can follow us on Twitter at VirgoFreakPod. You can follow us on Instagram, VirgoFreakPod. Go out there and like us on at Facebook. I don't know the link to that, but I'm sure you can figure it out. There's only one Virgo and the Freak Podcast on Facebook, so, have a crack. See if you can find us on there. Let us know if you find us. We'll give you a congratulations. Why the hell not?
It'll be good.
Yeah. We're also on YouTube. That's an even harder one to find. Go find us on there, subscribe, click the little bell icon.
There, I would be impressed.
Yeah, we'll even give you we'll even make up a certificate on paint and we'll give that to you. Because I'm a paint genius.
Yeah, you're good with paint.
Oh yeah. So yeah, check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe over there as well. You can leave comments over there. Sometimes we read them. We haven't done this episode on any of these podcast episodes yet, but we might do one episode where we get through them. And we're on LinkedIn as well. You drop us an email at
podcast@leaguefreak.com.
There you go. And if you want to get into subscribing, or sorry, not subscribing, if you want to get in there and sponsor and have us read out adverts for your business, get in touch. Same email address. We're willing to negotiate any old price and stuff like that. So get in there, get involved.
Yeah, if you got a business, get in touch. And what's the worst that happens? We're talking about your business on the podcast in glowing terms.
A lot. It just replaced the conversation we have about a Porto.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because, they haven't come to the party yet.
No, they stiffed us.
Bastards.
I reckon.
They're delicious fucking chicken.
Yeah, no finger and stick for them.
And, I think that's pretty much nailed it, hasn't it?
Pretty much. I think we did really well in this episode. Happy birthday once again. I hope you have an awesome day today.
Yeah, I'll be at work.
Oh, yeah, no.
That'd be good. And we'll thanks for listening. We'll catch you all next time.